Oh dear, just realised I was out of focus there. Right. So get the lighting, get everything into position. So hopefully it's all well and good. I can see it's coming through there, so great. Yes. Right, so give everyone a minute and that to join it. I've tweeted it out and blah blah blah. But yeah, the topic of discussion today is because a lot of people are kind of, some people are saying, oh, the B&M sets, they're going to be Dalek 4-packs and that and various other things. And some of them, going to be talking about them and probably debunking them. But as ever, it's too early to say for certain on anything. But, can make a very good educated guess on this. And yeah. Shiny Wag says, incoming Alduar abuse. Lexagore! So, yeah. But I might as well start. So, yeah. So, the main topic of discussion is that, basically, are we going to get Dalek 4-packs at B&M? Because this goes off something Alduar said last year. And we're going to go through the whole thing and why I don't think this is going to become a reality. I just noticed there's a bit of dust on that lens. There we go. But yeah, so start from the week. So last year, Alduar, when people were asking where's the resurrection set, where are the resurrection sets, Alduar stated that he didn't have really any intention or any plans to do any remembrance sets in the future. He said, oh, maybe I might do the Supreme Dalek later on at some point and that. And obviously that really annoyed people, the fact that, he was just skipping resurrection, because he then also stated that, oh well, I've already done resurrection and that before in the past, and there's not really much point on doing it again. I've kind of done all the variants there, which, so what? Resurrection of the Dalek set, the first one, came out back in 2010, and that was a Forbidden Planet exclusive. Basically, if you don't know, Alduar does not like the 1980s of Doctor Who. He does not like the 80s at all. So, basically, that's why, we don't get as many 80s stuff and that as maybe we'd have liked. Because Alduar, apart from stuff like Remembrance of the Daleks, really doesn't like the 80s. Just for the most part, just doesn't. I think he's a bit less egregious towards it now than he used to be, but even now, regardless, still not liking the 1980s. Anyway, so he started to get quite a bit of backlash, and he wasn't very happy with the fact that I made a video about this, because he tried to scrub everything off the internet of these discussions and that. And now, did he try to take down my video? I'm not actually 100% sure. The video was never taken down or anything, but there was an attempt to make it age restricted. Excuse me, which obviously failed, because it's me talking about some messages Alduar made. So yeah, was that him? Was that YouTube bots? Who knows? But that is something that did actually happen. That the video, for a very brief amount of time, was age restricted. I think it only lasted, though, like a couple of hours at most, and then it just immediately went back. In fact, to be honest, I don't know how public it actually went, but yeah, for a very, very brief period of time, it was age restricted, or attempted to. I don't know if it actually went through or not, but basically, I do know is I got an email saying your video is going to be age restricted, and then literally 2 hours later, they went, "Oh, sorry, it is a mistake. It is a mistake. Your video will not be age restricted." So, yeah, whether that was him trying to pull some strings or something, I don't know. But anyway, regardless, so after trying to bury all of that he wasn't going to do a resurrection set, he then decided, after all the backlash he was getting, to go in the complete opposite direction and say, no, the reason I'm not doing a resurrection set this year is because, I'm planning on doing a resurrection 4-pack. Yeah, I'm going to do a 4-pack. There are so many variants and that to do from resurrection that, I couldn't just do it in one and blah, blah, blah. It's like seeing pretty much the complete opposite of what he said previously. So, yeah, that's where that comes from on Alvar saying that. And I honestly think he was just saying that, just to shut people up. Now, in terms of will we get Resurrection this year? Well, obviously, according to the leaks, yes, we will. Will it be a 4-pack, though? Well, I seriously doubt it. And the reason is basically cost. B&M want to make these sets as affordable to as many people as possible. Now, there is advantages of doing a 4-pack. There are. The reason is basically, if you do 4 Daleks in one set, then basically it is a cheaper production cost overall, depending on how many you make. That's the key point here. So if we did get a Resurrection 4-pack, the price is going to be £40 to £45. Now, if B&M wanted to, they could maybe, scrape it a bit, maybe make it a nice £40, maybe 42. But if they wanted to, they could just go around and say, okay, 45 then. But to be honest, I don't see it going that way, because it's much harder to sell several 4-packs than it is to sell a bunch of 2-packs. 2-packs are much easier to sell because even at £22, people will buy, and they'll buy multiple of them because it's much easier to justify that, and also to people who, may look at something, that is that expensive and go, oh, £40-45, that's a bit much, but something, that is under £25, they'll probably go, okay. Plus also, that'll mean more stockroom, more delivery, and everything like that. So if they did do 4-packs, they would most likely manufacture less of them because of basically production costs. Yeah, that's basically the way it goes, unfortunately. You wouldn't get more. Like last year, we finally got rid of the issue of not having enough Daleks at B&M because they doubled their order. They basically sacrificed 3-packs in order to do that, but they doubled their order of Daleks, which meant basically everyone was able to get them. In fact, I'm able to find them all still, like all of the Dalek sets. If I look around enough and that, I'm still able to find them, and that I know of 2 B&Ms that have them. So, yeah. So it wasn't really as much of an issue last year because of that. But if they went to the 4-pack method, unless they doubled their order again, then basically, they would still be manufacturing the same amount of Daleks, but since they're in 4-packs, there'd be half as many of them to sell to people. So we would have the problem of not enough Dalek sets again for people, because yes, there's more Daleks in each set, but there are half as many sets, because they basically, that money's got to come from somewhere. Either they've got to double their order of Dalek sets, or, they're going to have half as many. So I'd be willing to guess that they probably have more of them, because they'd rather have more in stock so they can sell more. Now, whether the strategy, how well that has worked, we'll see. But nevertheless, Dalek sets still always sell, regardless. So, We will see how that goes. But I sincerely doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. And some people are also saying, oh, it's going to be an online exclusive. And again, I sincerely doubt that. The fact that was coming out of B&M, and basically, what would you do with that as an online set? Generally the online exclusives are things that are generally too expensive to do for B&M. Although, in recent time, I'm just kind of raising my eyebrow a bit to that one, because that Joe Martin TARDIS set, that could have been at B&M. That could have easily been at B&M. It would have stretched the budget a bit, admittedly, but that could have been at B&M. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was an online exclusive. Anyway. So, now turning over to the price of the sets as well. I've been seeing it, and I don't want it to be true. I'm hoping it's not going to be true. But I would not be surprised in the slightest if this year the sets went up in price. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to a full £25 each. Now, do I want this to happen? No. Do I expect it to happen? Probably. I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I'm hoping not. But let's face it, the price of the B&M sets continuously goes up. They keep going up and up and up. And that, I remember it was the last time they jumped in price was it 2022? They jumped from £20 to 22, I believe. I think it was that. So yeah, or was it 2021? It was one of the two. But yeah, with the way things are going now, maybe we're at the point now where things have kind of settled down a bit. But with inflation still going up, it's still going up, and prices are still increasing. Until, our inflation slows down a bit and evens itself off, I wouldn't be surprised if they do go up in price. I would not be surprised. Now, B&M are the ones keeping those prices low. They are the ones keeping those prices low, so yeah. Hopefully that'll be a thing and they keep the price low on them as much as they can. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they might do a thing where you buy, 2 sets for this amount. Although generally they don't tend to do offers like that, other than they're like 2 for 24, 2 for £25 toys. But yeah, if they did decide to bump up the price to £25, then they might do a thing where buy 2 for 45. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it, to be honest. But I did notice B&M are starting to have some more expensive stuff in there. Particularly, I noticed there was some Lego stuff in there. Now, I don't really buy Lego myself, really, anymore. I used to a bit as a kid. But, fucking hell, Lego in B&M for bloody, £65, £70. That is a high-ticket item for B&M. For their that is some of their most expensive toys and that in there. But yeah, recently they've been getting more and more Lego, I've noticed, and not cheap ones either. Bloody expensive. Some of it's still cheaper than other places, but still, B&M are pushing up their toy department, and basically, their the toy department of B&M, not just one B&M, but all B&M, is becoming bigger and bigger. It is becoming more of a legitimate thing. Christmas time, more, since we don't have Toys R Us anymore, more people are flocking there. Because supermarkets, for the most part, like if they have a toy section, it's normally teeny tiny at least compared to what it used to be. The only other option is Smith's Toys. But yeah, B&M is actually cutting in. Obviously, there's online sales and that, but separate. In terms of physical stores, they're cutting into that toy sales quite a bit in the UK. They are cutting into it a fair bit, and they don't see many signs of slowing down, because obviously it's being a massive success for them. Plus, also they won't, during COVID, they were one of the only people who actually, depending on the store, mind you, it was store, but they had a toy section that was open, because the stores were open. So yeah, but regardless of that, will it go up? I'm hoping not. I'm really hoping not. The other interesting thing is no TARDIS set. No TARDIS set. Now, could there be a TARDIS set this year that, things are just not finalised on? Possibly, but it's interesting that there isn't, because that would mean we get a first wave of Dalek sets, just Dalek sets, and then we get another wave with 3-pack, which is Friends and Foe of the Doctor, don't know which Doctor, and another 2 Dalek sets. So yeah, usually one of the, last year we got a TARDIS set, so yeah, could this be, an end, well, not an end, but a slowing down of the TARDIS sets, because literally there is one, and I've been seeing it for years, that we still haven't got. Why have we not got an 8th Doctor TARDIS set? Like, literally, we've had a first Doctor TARDIS set releases, several of them. We've had several second Doctor TARDIS sets, several third Doctor, several fourth Doctor, several fifth Doctor. We've now had a 6th Doctor one as of last year. We've had a 7th Doctor one, though I would like that one to get a re-release in some shape or form. No 8th Doctor one. Obviously, then we go into new series. So it would be nice to see new series boxes get a release at B&M, particularly 9 through 12. Basically, well, 9/10/11/12. So, yeah, would be nice to get some of the flight control TARDISes released at B&M. Particularly, I would like to see an electronic version of the non-electronic 11th Doctor TARDIS, because that one had the white windows. So that way you could have the lights and that on the inside, and the lights could glow out through the windows and have the light up signage and that. That would be nice to have. But, yeah, we'll see. Oh, there's obviously War Doctor TARDIS. That could have been something. Basically, they're the only 2 real ones that we've never had TARDIS 6 released for, is the War Doctor and also the 8th Doctor. Obviously, you could argue, oh, what about the 14th and now 15th Doctor? I mean, that's just the Jodie box again. And that, but I would like to... For that, I would like to see actually a brand new release of that. An actual proper release, not just reusing the classic box, which it is the wrong shape and that and size for it. The current box is considerably wider and that, and larger in basically every dimension than the classic series boxes. Not as big as the Eccleston Tennant ones. Not as big as those. It is a little bit slimmer. But still, it's still a large box, and that's by, design. For one, it's a lot easier to fit several people in there and that at once. Is one of the reasons why. But, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Right, so let's have a look at the chat. Oh, start at the top. Shiny Wake says, I don't want them to be 4-packs. It'd make army building a fucking nightmare. Well, it depends. It depends what's in those 4-packs. But I can understand your point as well, because that could also be an off-putting thing. Like, if you've got a set that is the Supreme Dalek, a Davros, and, 1 or possibly 2 variants of, your standard grey Dalek, that's a lot harder to justify army building. It's also one of the reasons why, not a lot of people army builded the Forbidden Planet sets, and if they did, why you saw, particularly like the Supreme Dalek or the 5th Doctor or Davros, end up on eBay a lot, because, it's much harder to justify that army building when you're only buying another set for 1 or maybe 2 figures out of a 4-pack. So it's a lot easier to justify if you're only buying 2 packs. Although it can fuck you over in the other way in that, but it also makes a smart business decision of having Davros with a Dalek and then the Supreme Dalek with another regular Dalek. Could do it that way. I don't know. But in terms of variations, Resurrection does have a fair few variants in that to it. You know, different dome lights, slightly different paint jobs, and also the slats and that, what colour the bands and everything in that are. It does have various different colour schemes, so there are fair few variants in that to do, but we'll see. Again, I seriously doubt it's gonna happen. But again, we will see. So anyway, says they would look really nice box, but who wants to pay £88 for 4 resurrection drones? I'd rather pay 44. Yeah. Well, again, it does depend. I know a lot of people bought extra 5 Doctor sets from last year, bought extra ones, particularly when they went on sale for £15, to basically customise or just keep them as is and cut as basically resurrection ones. Though they're not accurate to resurrection. In fact, obviously, the Dalek itself wasn't accurate to the story it was meant to be from. And I went over, obviously, all these various things in the review. Your mic. Is it too loud? Is it... Let me have a look. Is it too loud, the mic? It doesn't appear to be peaking. Hang on, let me have a listen. Let me have a listen to it on here. And see. Doesn't appear to be peaking. No? Okay. I'm just... I thought you guys were talking about that, but yeah, I didn't. I thought you meant it was peaking or something like that. But yeah, there we go. I don't like. I keep it, you know, not too loud, because otherwise it will peak, and that's particularly if I get loud at any points, which is normally when I get agitated. Or irritated. Anyway, Shiny Wedge. I can only think he got remembering Scree drones confused. And makes him think Resurrection was covered many times. No, he didn't. He just didn't want to do it. As I said, Alduar, apart from Remembrance, he doesn't like the 80s Dalek stories or any 80s stories for the most part. He's not a fan of the 80s. And this is not just me saying that. Like, even Batman March, if you look at Batman March's very early videos, actually, when is it? What review was it? Can't remember which one, but it was one of his earlier ones. But even Batman March mentioned that Alduar doesn't like the 80s and that, but that was a different time. That was a different Batman March. AC Animations, Al hates the 80s, yep. So anyways, I'm hoping okay, that Alduar doesn't pointlessly make a weaker eye stalk for the OG molds he did for... Well, 2010. Alduar might have done the eyes for those. He might have. I don't know. Because 2010 was kind of like the... You know, it wasn't quite the end, but it was like basically where people who used to work with Alduar and that on these figures, people like Pre-B Props, for example. You know, this was towards the end, basically. By 2010, it was towards the end, and it just kept slimming down to the point where it's basically just him now, essentially. Well, he'd like you to believe that. He'll blame someone else if it goes wrong. If it goes right, he'll absolutely take all the credit. It's the animations. Also, 2 identical 5th Doctor TARDISes. Well, no, they're not quite. I mean, one has mud on, the other one is clean. That's basically the difference between them. And that's not really his fault in that, you know, there was 2 props and that floating around and that at the time. And, you know, they were made to look as identical as each other as they could. So, yeah, basically, and the 2 that were released were both based on the same prop. So, not really much you can do. And to be honest, I was glad to have the other one because the Visitation one, or was it Kashgavalvi decided to call it from one of the two. Anyway, I really like that TARDIS. I do really like it. So yeah, and it was nice to have a clean one. To be honest, the one in Caves of Angusani shouldn't have really been that dirty, to be honest. Say that again. DW Boy 14. I'll be happy to pay 40 to 45 because I normally buy both sets straight away. Yeah. But bearing in mind, you'll be buying two of them. So you'll be paying £80 to £90. Because if they are doing two 4-packs at the same time, then basically you'll be paying even more if you wanted them. So yeah, if it's just the one, then great. But there we go. Mark Long Deluxe Davros set is $12.99, and the 3 other sets will be $12.99. The Deluxe Davros set will not be $12.99. I don't know if you've put that, but it will not be $12.99. If anything, it's going to be £25 or more. Let's not forget, back in 2022, when we had what was it? Creation of the Dalek set or whatever it was, where we had the Genesis Davros and a Dalek in there. That was £25. That was more expensive. So if anything, it's going to be £25, if not £30, depending on it. And the fact that it says Davros Deluxe set. So yeah. Now this is most likely going to be Emperor Davros, because that is something a figure Alduar really wants to re-release himself. So I can see it coming out. And the molds were actually found for that figure last year, but obviously it'd be too late and that to do a figure at that point. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Emperor Davros with, who knows, maybe a destroyed Imperial Dalek or something along those lines. But who knows? It just depends how deluxe it's going to be. Now, I've just thought of something off the top of my head. A Davros Deluxe set could be something else. Something a lot less interesting than that. It could be multiple Davroses, actually. It could just be multiple Davroses, in the fact that, okay, I'm just going to get all the Davroses out of the way now. So, there's David Goodison, there's Terry Malloy with the various swappable arms and hands, I should say, and that. And there's the Emperor one, there's your Deluxe Davros set, and get them out of the way. That could be something. That could be something. I mean, if you had Emperor Davros in there, I'd be thrilled to bits and that with it. But I think it's going to be Emperor Davros. I'm pretty sure. And that figure could have some improvements to it. Mainly the paintwork on the various wires was abysmal for the most part on the first release. So, yeah, that could be something and that as well. I know the paint tended to chip and rub a bit on the dome bit that went over on that as well. I do have one though, mine is sealed. And no, I'm not opening it. But yeah, that set, by the way, when that set came out, that was 35 quid. Averbin Planet. So, yeah, just shows. Sorry, the Davros set being that cheap is a surprise. Yeah, I think you've missed it, because otherwise where the hell are you getting it? No way on earth is it going to be $12.99. Even if it was just Emperor Davros on his own, that would be at least 20 quid. That would be at least 20 quid. $12.99, no. Like 15 at the very, very minimum. And that would just be him on his own, but I doubt it they would do that. I think it would be another robot situation, because a lot of people, thought we wouldn't get the giant robot at B&M, and I kind of, thought about it myself. But obviously we got that with a fourth Doctor figure for 20 quid, so Davros, Because the fact is, the molds in that exist. It's not a brand new figure. The molds in that exist, so save a ton of money in that there. So yeah. Shiny Wedge. I also hope they don't paint a stupid blue colour or something. So that Genesis Grey would be better. They're not Genesis Grey though. They're not Genesis Grey. Now, the bluey grey that Alderaan did with the Resurrection Daleks, if that was darker, because they are a very, very slight tinge to it, or at least some of them are, particularly ones that were brought onto location. If they were about 90% darker than they are, I'd be pretty bang on. But is Alderaan going to fuck the colours on the Dalek up? Of course he is. He's Alderaan. He's not going, he's not going to change his mind. He's not going to ask anyone else, for advice or help. In fact, even though he wouldn't even need to, if he did proper research, if Alderaan did some actual proper research, not just skimming things on Google, and that the information is all out there already, very easily. Heck, even if he just literally got Resurrection of the Daleks up on his bloody monitor and bloody looked at it in comparison, that would be better. Because it doesn't even match it if you did it that way. Just holding the Dalek up to a monitor. Obviously, you'd have to have a monitor that is, correctly colour calibrated. But, since he's a product designer, he should have a monitor, that has accurate colours and is accurately calibrated. Surely? Maybe he doesn't, and maybe that's the reason why the colours keep fucking up. Because that is vitally important, actually. Having a monitor that is one colour accurate, but two is calibrated correctly. What was I asked? It's the animation extra marketing couldn't have been at B&M. We couldn't have got the slanted corner of the box with B&M with the B&M budget. Oh yeah, the slanted corner. The most pointless fucking thing to do on a box. I mean, it could have been done at B&M technically, but yeah. The thing is though, I fucking hate that slanted corner. I really hate that slanted corner. Now, admittedly, if you had it on a shelf at B&M, maybe something to stand out on the scan, but it was an online exclusive, so it made no sense. Plus, it made it a fucking pain in the arse to open it. It made it more of a pain in the arse to open it. So, yeah. So, no, I do not like the slanted corner. And that. And it also, the packaging design engineers were not happy about it either, because it was more difficult to manufacture as a result. So yeah, when you've got people who aren't happy with the cardboard that the box is made out of because you're making it worse, you're fucked up. Anyway, Shinywig says, Alderaan is getting greedy as fuck. That TARDIS had a shitty texture on the roof, yes, and that figure was like 85% done up. Yeah, it was, for the most part. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it suits it very well. I don't mind, him reusing parts. I don't mind if it fits the figure. And I think with that one it works really well. Yeah, DW14. I saw Lego Spider-Man for 95 in there. Oh, right. Oh, right. I was talking about earlier. Lego. You see animations. Seeing Lego and B&M price match Lego in big shops like Smith's. Seeing screens that they're more of a budget store. Yeah, but, I mean, you won't see prices any more expensive. In fact, some of their stuff their Lego stuff is slightly, not much, but slightly cheaper than other retail stores. As I said, they for example, I saw the new Lego Sonic in there, the new Lego Sonic set, and it was slightly cheaper than Smiths. I think it was about £6 or £7 cheaper than Smiths. So, yeah, as I said, B&M, they're pretty competitive when they come when it comes to their pricing on things. So, yeah. W14, Doctor Who, I'm not going to say that word, merchandise will be greeting Smith's Toys. No, it would not. Oh, God. No, it would not, because you clearly don't shop at Smith's enough, like I do. Smith's Toys are peeing in the arse a lot of the time, because the reason is, Smith's Toys, the problem with them is that, number one, stuff will come in the store first, but then it'll take forever for it to appear on their website, basically. And also vice versa, they tend to sell out on their website very cheap and are basically, if something says it's in stock in a Smith's store, that isn't always accurate. If it says it's in or it isn't in stock, sometimes, they're generally not very accurate in terms of regards to that. So yeah, Smith's, no. I mean, obviously it does depend on what area, but also there are less Smiths. There are less Smith's Toys. B&M is a much better home than Smith's Toys. I'm just going to say it because there's more of them. There's more opportunity. And B&M will probably order more. Just going to say B&M will probably order more. Plus, I think they've gotten to the point where they've gotten more used to the type of people because, the type of people who generally go shopping and that at Smith's is generally a much younger demographic. It is. Like, the thing is that basically, and this is the thing, the whole thing is, B&M will know very much now that Doctor Who collectors will go into B&M. But obviously, when they're either hunting for sex, or if even they come lucky and they're buying some sex in there, they might buy a few other things and that while they're in there, they might, even if it's just, buying a drink and that for the road or something like that, or just doing a bit of shopping and that in there, someone who's more casual and doing a bit of shopping and just sees that there, that is, a better strategy in that for them. And as I said, B&M want to keep expanding their toy department, which is also why, they're doubling their order on Daleks and that. So, yeah. But, yeah, in terms of the best home, I don't know. I mean, it would be better than Amazon. Amazon's the last place you want B&M stuff, Doctor Who sex to end up at, because the way they treat their stock and their staff. Flacker, I think that's meant to be. Would be so cool if they remade the very original Cult of Scarrow set in the new sculpts. Now that is something I've been saying for years, but we also were going to end up having that anyway. I mean, we've already had Dalek Sec. Rest of the Cult of Scarrow, I would not, I wouldn't put maybe. But as I said, if we did end up having Dalek 4-packs, that's a nice, lovely one to do. We couldn't have the Genesis Arc with it, though. Because the revised NSD sculpts, Daleks, don't really fit in there properly, unfortunately. So, yeah. I mean, we could still have it in the Daleks, just not fit in there. Oh, excuse me. Boy 14. I'm guessing with the 8th Doctor it might be about the movie rights. Nope. It's got nothing to do with that because the BBC fully owns the rights. Yeah. BBC fully owns the rights. So, yeah. Basically, there's no excuse not to. There is no excuse not to. BBC fully own the rights. I mean, we got... TV Movie Began released at B&M 2022 was that? So yeah, but in terms of that, plus also you could even just say, oh well, it's a Big Finish one. Again, options, people, options. Shiny Wake says we could get a season 18 4th Doctor entire sex sculpt. Yeah, that is something I've wanted. I have really wanted a season 18 Tom re-release for years. I have really wanted it, and basically what I wanted in is basically to have it in the colours and that of its original release, but with the more detailed scarf that was in the 13 Doctor set version. So yeah, but you know, we'll see. Again, Aldebar don't like the 80s, doesn't like them. But yeah, it would be nice to have that and that released. Where am I at? Zygon XD, what do you think? Why do you think of the Toy Fair stuff? Thing? You mean think? Right, because I've done a separate video on this, the stuff at the Toy Fair. So, we saw some prototype figures of, we saw Shooty Gatwa, we saw, forgotten her name, Ruby Rose figure, and we also saw, again, forgotten the name, figure and that as well. We saw those three. Now, will those three figures get a release? Shooty Gatwa as 15th Doctor, almost certainly, and probably the other two will probably also get a release as well. I wouldn't be surprised. I would really like, actually, that Beep the Meep plush, actually. I quite like the look of it. I'm surprised, though, didn't do a figure of Beep the Meep. Didn't do a figure. Now, the thing is, could that be the Friends and Foe set? Could that be the Friends and Foe set? Because, as I said before, it didn't specify what Doctor it is, so, you know, could those three prototype figures, could those be ended up at B&M? I doubt it. I doubt it, at least not in that form, because I'm sure Russell T Davies wants his new series stuff to basically be more retail release type stuff, which he isn't really succeeding in so far. But well, when it comes to the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, anyway. So yeah, could we see that possibly? But yeah, since it doesn't mention any Doctor, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I would love it to be a Jamie, but I doubt it because Alderaan does not like Fraser Hines. And I'm not talking about just Jamie, I mean, he doesn't like Fraser Hines, like, on a personal level. Well, at least he didn't, what was it, nearly a decade ago. For those who don't know, Fraser Hines offered to be essentially, for the most part, pay for a Jamie figure to be made. And Aldebar turned it down several times, even though Fraser Hines was offering to pay the bill for the figure to be made. But Aldebar kept saying no. And that, so I think Fraser Hines called him an arsehole or something along those lines. Or fucking idiots, you know, for doing it. And, which is true, just like, why? Literally, you've got someone there who is willing to pay for this thing to be made, and then you just get to basically reap all the rewards. Yeah, doesn't make sense. As I said, that's Aldebar's ego for you. Mick Logman says it is because it says on the store system I work at for B&M, $12.99 for that. I mean, if it is $12.99, amazing. But for when you're calling something a Davros Deluxe set, a Davros Deluxe, right? It's not very deluxe if it's it's not going to be a very deluxe set for $12.99. But if it is the case and it's just Emperor Davros on his own, because that's you're not going to get another figure in the set for that price. Sorry, you just cannot. But still, if that is the case, I'll buy 3 of them. I will buy probably 3 of them. Yeah. I'll probably buy 3. Why buy 3? One to open as a regular one. The other one I might customize it into the Terra Firma Davros from Big Finish. Which is basically Emperor Davros but silver instead of white. So, yeah, it's possible. That's something I might do, actually. That's something I could actually do. Chunks the Boy, as an American buyer, kind of focused to either do the scalpers on eBay or just do without. Paying nearly 100, is that dollars or pounds? Or over with both history set? Whoa, over 100. Paying nearly 100 for both. Right. Because the thing is, on eBay the prices weren't. If you waited for long enough, if you waited for a bit, the prices on them on last year's set were normally around £30-35. They weren't that expensive compared to previous years, mainly because people could get their hands on them. So yeah, let's say it's the higher price. Let's say they're £30 each. So you pay £35 each. So that's £70 for both sets, plus delivery. Okay, I can see why it would nearly be £100, and that for both of them because delivery to the US is bloody expensive. So I can see where you're coming from, but yeah, I would say if you can try and find someone in the UK who could possibly get them for you, but I understand most of the time that isn't unfortunately an option. Yeah, at this rate, it's bloody cheap. Might be even cheaper for you to bloody book a day out to the UK from the, fly out to the UK for a day, go to B&M. Although then again, there's no guarantee that they'll have them. And there's also now a guarantee that they'll survive the journey back. Although then again, the US Postal Service will probably see to that as well. Mind the British Postal Service is barely better. Duncan Kilburn. I want a destroyed Dalek from Resurrection. Okay. EC Animations plot twist deluxe Davros set is a single carded Children in Need Davros. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, bloody Julian Bleach. Children need. Oh god. I mean, it would be nice to have a Julian Bleach figure because, of just regular Julian Bleach, because for one, that'd be good for customizers who want to make a Nightmare Man, or I've forgotten the name of the character he plays in Torchwood. Can't remember, but still, yeah. I sincerely doubt that'll be the case, though. But yeah, Mark Long says, looked at the store systems in Davros says $12.99. I also have all the codes for the sets. Okay, Mark. Mick, sorry, why am I calling you Mark? Mick Logman, if you have the codes for the sets, put them in the chat, please. Put them in the chat if you have the codes for the set, because that'll be very useful. EC Animations. Shouldn't the figures be better for now that Dalek 6888 is being consulted? Oh. Yeah, consulted. The thing is, though, Alduar Yeah, you can consult with Aldebar as much as you like, though. Whether he'll actually take on board what you say and actually listen, that's another thing. At the end of the day, I guess Al will get the final say. Of course, Al will get the final say. He does whatever he fancies. I think the only reason he talks to Dalek 6388 now to anyone on there is basically because he said, "Oh well, I talked to them, and they said this is right, even though it's not, and they said it's not." So yeah. DW Boy 14. I just bought the 2014 Pyramids of Mars set. It makes me want a lot more classic monsters. Okay, I would like more classic monsters than that as well, but not going to get them because Aldebar. Do we know how many units of the History of the Galactic Sects are getting made? No, not as of yet. But if it's 2 packs, I'll imagine it'll probably be the same amount as last year, which I think was something like 12,000 ish, 12 to 14,000, something along those lines. I don't know the exact number, but basically it was around about that. Shiny Wag says, Aldebar needs to apologise to Dalek 68. Imagine how embarrassing it must have been for them to credit the Remembrance of the Dalek set and call it a renegade. It was so shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that renegade. Speaking of, so, yeah. Speaking of renegades, this is my one. This is one of the ones I painted here. And here is another one. That is brand new sealed. That isn't, and it's going to be harder to show it on camera. But hopefully you can just see how much darker my one is compared to that one. Yeah. And that's the first time, I've actually probably gotten so pissed off about the colour being wrong that I actually went and actually, did it myself. It didn't turn out brilliantly, but turned out better than I thought in some cases. It wasn't a complete disaster. So anyway, Gav Rymil, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Dark 68, sculpted the Eagle Moss Daleks. No, he didn't sculpt them. He provided the digital file for them, but he didn't physically sculpt them himself. So why not him? Because Aldebar. Cyber FM. He only spoke to Dark 668 because of the back, as I said. He doesn't actually care and wants to keep the image credible. Again, what I literally just said. So, yep. W Boy 14. If Doctor Who left... Oh, God, here we go. Every time to say, if Doctor Who left character options, who would go? Some people say it should be Bandai. Some people say it should be this. I don't know. There's a couple of ways you could go about it. I mean, the problem is, if character option, if it went to someone else, like the main figure line, the problem is they would have to start from scratch, and oh boy, that would be a big investment for any company to do. That would be a big investment for any company to do. So that's the thing. But yeah, in terms of more affordable routes, I do quite like Jakks Pacific, although most of their lines are more focused on more cartoony, much more simpler design stuff. So I'll be interested to see what they would do with more highly detailed stuff, or should I say intricately detailed. There's obviously, although that's of a thing now, but there is. Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? I can't remember now. Anyway, but yeah, there's various other but to be honest, like, would they do a better job? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Oh, I'm trying to think of the name. There we go. So if it comes to me, I'll come back to it. Fuck it. Personally, haven't kept up with the history of the Dalek sects, and I've only started buying now. Getting older sects is very expensive, especially £80 plus. Yeah, bloody hell! Like people thought, oh, the B&M sects, they won't hold their value like the Forbidden Planet sects. No, if anything, the B&M sects in some cases are more expensive. Mind, there was a person in Greenwich Market, Newcastle, who had the War Doctoring Dalek set, and he wanted £40, which is double the price it originally was, but compared to some, it's much more reasonable. Oh yeah, Dayfall. Easy animations. Who needs Dayfall when we have those lifelike 72013 figures? Oh god, yeah, 720. Cyber FM says the character sex now are a day seem diluted. Try and make sense of this. Plain and mostly boring. That won't kill them off before anything. Their imagination and budget has gone through the window. Sorry, that whole thing just bloody confused me. Yeah, the thing is though, when I think of the Doctor Who figures now, I don't think of character, I think of Alduar. I never used to before 2019, when Alduar decided to make himself a public figure and basically bask himself as the fucking messiah of Doctor Who figures. So yeah. I don't know. Hello, Tom Cahav. Can't pronounce that last name, sorry. Have you any luck in the job search? Not really as of yet. Not really with my mental health the way it is. Anyway. Flanker. Or Flacker? I don't know. Just got set 4 for £30. Quite reasonable. 6, 1, 2 and 7 are like 80, are all 80 quid. Set 1? That one was, I remember there was someone on eBay selling ones with slightly damaged boxes for, what was it, 15 quid for the longest bloody time? Shiny White says, CEO needs to use the colour you used on the Renegade gigs for the resurrection drones. No, they don't, because that would be the wrong colour. Renegade Daleks are much, much lighter grey than the resurrection ones. They're completely different greys. They are not, basically. They are closer to Genesis colours than they are Renegade Daleks. Renegade Daleks, if anything, are much closer to Destiny than those. In terms of colour. But all of them are completely different colours from each other. So no, they don't need to be close. They just need to be the correct one. Or closer, like close enough where basically it's not obvious at a glance that it's the wrong colour. Like this bloody thing is. Like even at a glance you can immediately see, wait a minute, that's not right. Someone says, oh, sorry to hear that. What's up with your mental health? Not discussing it. Tell you what, actually, let's go, before I answer any more questions, let's go on a little tangent about things. So, for those who don't know, I've had kidney stones in my kidneys since September, one in each one, which makes it painful in that, to lie on one side for an extended period of time, or any time really, which makes it difficult sleeping. And I've been to the hospital quite a few times and that about it. And now they want to take a urine sample over 24 hours, to do tests and that to try and find out what's wrong. Oh, I just knocked the remote off. That was clever. I knocked the fucking remote off. So yeah, basically, within the next 2 weeks, I've got to pick a day where, I take a urine sample. In a pot this big. And they gave me 2 of them, just in case I needed them. And this is 3,000 millilitres, so this is a 3-litre pot. So yeah, someday within the next couple of weeks, I've got to basically pick a day. I'm going to pick a day when I know I'm going to be at home for the full day. Because, obviously, I'm not carrying one of these things around with us. And basically, every time I need a piss, I go in here. And then, within 24 hours after that, 48, but preferably 24, they said, return it to the hospital for them to analyse. So yeah, that's a nice mental image for everyone there. Oh god. Went off tangent a bit there, but still, anyway, back to this. CyberFM says, when they retool the figures, they don't make any interesting figures, to be honest. No imagination. Okay, I don't know why you keep saying imagination. Like, it's not imagination that makes the figures. You're basing it on something that already exists. You're not magically thinking of something. Like, basically, what you're trying to do is make it as accurate and that as you can to whatever, actor, prop, monster, whatever it is that's on screen. That's what you're trying to do. And obviously make it to a price and that as well. But anyway, Thomas says, seeing that the Who figures are going up in value, they never dropped in value. Doctor Who figures have always generally held their value, and always go up in value. The only time Doctor Who figures go down in value is if they get a re-release. If they get a re-release, then generally the original will then dip in price. Excuse me. Unless the re-release is shit, then the original will go up in price even more, possibly. Anyway, value's definitely worth buying a few, holding on to them till they're worth loads. Well, the thing is though, you don't have to hold on to them for very long for them to be worth loads. Like other people, like that other guy was saying in the comments below, he spent what, £80? I don't know if he spent £80, but like the prices on some of the History of the Dalek sets, which, bear in mind, History of the Dalek sets started in 2020, not that long ago. And look at the prices now. They're worth some of them are worth like 4 or even 5 times as much as their original price. And it hasn't even been a decade yet. Like, it hasn't even been half a decade. So, yeah, they definitely go up in price. Thomas says, how do you buy all this cool stuff without a job? Are your family millionaires? No. The reason I was able to afford a lot of this stuff, basically, is because there are other things I don't buy that other people would. For example, I don't go out drinking and that. I don't drink any alcohol or stuff like that. So that's another way I save money. But also one of the other ways I do it, which is something I don't do anymore, is basically I used to basically go to my granny's and that every day, and make a tea, or if I was there for even longer, make a lunch. Basically, go out shopping for her, getting stuff, do various other things for her, and she would give me money and that for that. And now, obviously, that's not going to be the case because she passed away last year. But yeah, basically, that was one of the reasons why I was able to afford that. That's also one of the reasons why my mental health kind of is going. I mean, it wasn't great beforehand, but that really made it go down. That's where this chair's actually from. Actually, it was never her chair, but it was the chair I had at her apartment and that there and that. But there's some things that I keeping that of sentimental value. For example, I've got something that was actually hers right here, which is actually coming very useful. Which is this grabber. Yeah. And yes, sometimes I do like to pretend that it's the claw arm of a movie Dalek, or it's an arm of a Dalek out of the construction line, and it's grabbing a Dalek from the production line. I'm going to have to move it all the way over there. So there we go. Got a Dalek. Ooh, it's going into the production line. It's being grabbed, yeah. This is actually one of the ones I sprayed with a clear gloss to give it the correct glossy finish, which it should actually have. So, yeah. This one I keep out and that for that reason. But yeah, this means with this arm I'm able to reach it and go over there. But the main use for this... Ooh, put it down, there we go. The main use for this is actually my unit. I have two speakers either side of my unit, and the one on... And sometimes if I drop something off my bed, or if it falls off the unit or whatever, if it falls behind the floor speaker, it's a pain in the ass to get it back out, because it means I've got to physically remove the speaker and everything around it and that, which is a pain in the ass to do. With this though, it means I can just reach over, lean over, grab it and pull it out if something falls off. What was it that fell down there before? Can't remember. It's also useful if when I open my windows, if the windows blow open more than they should in the wind, it's much easier to grab it with this rather than trying to lean out the window too far, because that can be bloody dangerous. Again, went on a bit of a tangent like that there. I go on them quite a bit. I get distracted. Whoops. But yeah, no, my family aren't millionaires, though we do own this house. Well, I say my mum and dad do. They finished paying off the mortgage, when was it? 2020? 2021? We are very lucky in that. So that basically, you know, this is secure inheritance and that as well. Excuse me. I'm going to plug my phone in actually. So, where was I at? AC animations. I can see Al using a screenshot from when the Resurrection Daleks break through the wall, and therefore getting the colours completely wrong. No. No. You're giving them way too much credit to the fact they would take a screenshot and work off that. He would just do it by fucking memory. Well, his very vague memory. If, you know, last year's sex or anything to go by. Like, I haven't got it to hand, but the Death Zone Dalek from the Five Doctor set. You know what Alderaan based that on? An unfinished, yes, unfinished fan build project that someone was doing. Can you see the problem there? One, he's basing it on a fan build. Two, he's basing it on a fan build that isn't even fucking finished. Bloody hell. I know it's a switch, you know. Tom says, oh, I see, he got synchronophobia and kidney stones. Well, I've got kidney stones. They're not fun. And as much as I do want to get rid of them, when they do leave the kidney, and I will be in utter agony and be unable to do anything. Literally do anything, because I will be in so much pain. The problem is, the best thing to do is sit still and drink as much water as possible. Slight problem. It hurts so much and you're in such agonising pain, it is basically impossible to sit still. Second thing, you drink so much water that it makes you feel sick. And on the 2 kidney stones that I have actually passed, the hospital were actually, the doctors at the hospital were actually surprised that I wasn't actually sick, on both occasions. Here's a tip, anyone. If you feel sick, suck an extra strong mint and keep sucking them until you no longer feel sick. Also, ginger's good and that for an upset stomach and that as well. But yeah, basically, if you feel sick, suck a strong mint, an extra strong mint, and that can stop you from being sick. Not always, obviously not always, but if you're like in the if you feel like you're gonna be sick, can that? Obviously, if you are gonna be sick, you are just gonna be sick, which is not a pleasant thing. Particularly when you're sick and then nothing comes out, but you can feel the pull in your stomach. Is this a nice visualization for people? This is a very, very YouTube friendly live stream, isn't it? Sam FM says, I recently purchased a Steyr one-to-one wearable replica head. Okay, good for you. Is that just the helmet? Or is it an actual head? Max Stevenson. Hopefully, a good release with the background this time. I'm not really bothered. I'd be more bothered, actually, if we can ditch that bubble design. The blister card type design that we've been having on the packaging. But I think next year to stay. Well, basically no it is. CyberFM says, I have had exact pots. I've had the exact pots from hospital too. I've suffered with kidney stones also. It is shit, isn't it? Yes, it is. And hey, I'm only 25, and I've had now, if you include the ones that are still in the kidney, and that I have technically had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 kidney stones within 6 months of last year. And I've still got 2 of them that won't bloody shift out of the kidneys. Isn't that great? If you want some even more fun news, and that last year on when I went to for the second time I went to Blackpool, which was I think that was episode 2, maybe, yeah, episode 2 of the Search for Doctor Memorabilia number 6, so number 6 episode 2. Throughout that entirety of of my stay there that time, I had a boil just inside my arse, which meant it hurt to sit down, it hurt to lie down, and it really hurt to shit. I always get them in the summer because it gets so fucking hot. Right, Mark Stevenson says, so Resurrection will be the black and white Dalek. Yes, I've got one over there actually. I'll go get it. Well, I say black and white. This one's thicker dust. Absolutely thicker dust. Thing is though, I clean. Yeah, this has been sitting on the shelf for, I don't know, maybe a year, and this is how much dust it's managed to accumulate in a year. I've actually got two of these, because this one used to be my brother's. That I bought off him years ago. And the other one I've got, which is in Xbox. But yeah, this one used to be my brother's. And that. But in terms of, changes to this, there's not really much to do with this one. Not really much. I would say give it the next section type thing that the other Daleks have, the extra bit in there, but since that bit isn't that accurate, since it doesn't have the mesh design on there, I don't know, I'll be happy either way. And, yeah, there it is. Ugh, it is, yeah. I think after this video, I might just wash it. Yeah, rather than dust it. Dalek figures, sometimes that actually just gets easy just to rinse under a tap and then let them dry out. Sunnywork says, now Resurrection Daleks were the same. They were not the same colour. They were not the same colour. Go on Dalek638X website. They were not the same colour. Not as the Goons, not as they are a different colour from the Genesis ones. Like, seriously different colour. The Goons did get repainted. What are you on about? The Goons never got repainted. Yes, they did. The Goons got repainted. Like basically, bits of the Goons were used in conjunction with the hero props at times. Like, for example, in Destiny of the Daleks. They were all painted these light greys, with the one exception being Dalek 5. Can't remember what the name of the other half was, but Dalek 5 something was the only one that remained in its Genesis colours, because it was the only one that had remained in storage. All the others had been out on various, events, promotions, blah blah blah, but not Dalek 5 something. I can't remember what parts were matched with what at the time, off the top of my head. AC animations. Actually, I'm going to have a bit more water. I think some dust went down my throat. During these live streams, I am drinking M&S Peach and Raspberry Still Water. Not a sponsor, it's just what I've got to hand. I guess Lasso and Destroyed Cassandra have also kept their value. The Destroyed Cassandra kind of has, in an ironic sense, like a sealed Destroyed Cassandra. I mean, it doesn't go for a lot of money, but it goes for a lot more now, mainly because it became a bit of a meme. Like, not just, you know, in terms of Doc 2 figures, but in terms of, like, in general. Like, I did see general memes and that. I think that was helped to it being in an Ashling's video, as in one of the worst, you know, figures ever released from a value point. So, yeah. DW4014. Is there any figures you want? Because I need 2013 Cybermen and Chris Chibnall Cybermen and the Sasha Master. Is there any figures I want to be released? Well, in terms of ones that will never ever happen, an evil Emperor Dalek. And a new series one as well, that would be nice. Those are ones I'd really like, though will never happen in terms of realistic. I would like a Sasha Master, but yeah, I don't know. Tom says, yeah, but where's this money come from? I'm on Universal Credit. That's where that money comes from. Have you ever had a job? Yes. It's not what caused the poor mental health. No, it didn't help. Didn't help. It wasn't the cause. No. Mark says, do you polish your grid, Alex? No. I don't use polish on any of my Daleks. I don't polish them at all. So I do occasionally clean the dust off of them, the ones that are like out of box. And when I say occasionally, I do mean very occasionally, because most of the time, like, you know, I got other shit to do in the day. DW14 says, stupid idea, but I'd love a spider Dalek. Yes, it is. Those spider Daleks in, I think it was the last War Doctor Begins set, or one of them, they did actually have spider Daleks in there. Or something that was similar to that type of thing. Cyber FM, no idea. No, the Higgs Cell helmet, fiberglass. Okay, that was right. Cyber FM says he is gay with Ian Levine. I hope you have a similar age to him, because otherwise it's a bit weird, and I hope you have a legal age at least. If you're with Ian Levine. And keep a hold of your fucking wallet. I hope that you're alright. If it is depression, anxiety. See, I take to see that in the live stream. Again, I'm not discussing that. Because unlike some other YouTubers, I'd rather just, you know, focus on the videos I'm making. Yeah, Maximum Punk thing. This is not the, oh, woe is me, I complain about the things in my life type thing. Well, I see that. It depends what it is. If it's a funny one. Shiny Wag says, I've been on Dark 688. Oh, fuck off with this. No, you haven't. You ain't read Dark 688 properly. Yes, I fucking have. And I can ask another person who definitely has. If you remember Reese was being on here. He fucking lives on that website. That's why he was the one who told me about the paint and that for the The Renegade Dalek. Yeah. Hoping actually, I can hopefully meet him for the first time in person. Hopefully this year, if we meet at Blackpool at some point, possibly. Because we've never actually, even though we've known each other for years now, we've never actually met in person. He's a bit afraid to meet me. Mainly because he thinks I'm going to murder him. I won't do that. He still owes me too much for him to do that. Like, he needs to finish my Dalek. Yeah. And also the Blu-ray rips he's promised me. Anyway, there is someone who had a 3D print. Yeah, I know about the 3D prints, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's nice, but it's not the same as having an official. Like, if I wanted to have the most accurate possible Dalek, figure, 3D print it. If you want the most accurate, 3D print and paint it up yourself. That's the way to get it as accurate as possible. But that takes time, costs a lot of money, and plus obviously it doesn't have that official aspect, and it won't hold its value. It won't. It generally its value will generally. It depends. It generally won't increase that much. Whereas Character Options since it's official merchandise, it will hold its value, because if it is just a file, that can be printed off by basically any 3D printer or anyone that's got a high enough resolution to it, then it's not really going to hold its value. Anyway. Someone says, have you ever seen his dusty, crusty Howard? Of course you're not well, okay. Oh, fuck off, shiny wedge. If you're literally just going to repeat the same comment over and over again, I'm just going to ignore it because I'm bored. Wait. You said hello, Mr. Valeska. You said hello to me, and then you redacted it. Okay. CyberFM says, it's okay, I'm 24 and Ian Levine is 6. I thought Ian Levine was in his 70s. Or are you just trying to be funny? He keeps asking me to fund his... Oh yeah, he's bloody missing episode crap. Yeah, where is it? Where is it again? Here we go. So I'm going to just hold my phone to the camera, and we're gonna play the full thing. We're gonna play the full thing. Well, I'm just gonna hold it up to the camera.
What do you want? I am looking for Charles Chrysler.
There we go, that's it. And by the way, Ian Levine is just basically hasn't actually paid anyone. Ooh, the colour bounce has gone off a bit. There we go. Basically, so far as I'm aware, Ian Levine hasn't actually paid anyone to do anything. There we go, the colour bounce has corrected itself. Basically, he's basically just got people who have done animation tests and that themselves, and claiming this is what it's going to be, but actually he hasn't actually properly done anything himself, like in terms of actually using some funding and that. And will it ever happen? I doubt it. I think he's just gonna ignoring any legality issues, I think Ian Levine is just going to run off with that money. Yes, Valeska, you have arrived. Did you come? Oh, that joke was bloody terrible. So me and Mr. Levine go for cheeky spins to the machine on his wheelchair. Oh no, not wheelchair. Yeah, Ian Levine can't do anything bad if he's in a wheelchair. After all, you know, you can't be bad if you're in a wheelchair. According to Russell T Davis. I do have the thing is though, Ian Levine's one of those things where it is because I do have respect for him. You know, without him, there's a lot of Doctor Who missing episodes that we just wouldn't have if it wasn't for him. But at the same time, you know, he's a bloody difficult character, isn't he? Someone says an unofficial evil supreme that went for thousands. And you're saying it won't. No, I'm not saying it won't hold its value. I mean, what I'm saying is it won't generally go up in value. In terms of things like generally, you know, if it's got plus though sometimes it isn't the case. I'm just saying on a general term, like basically most character options figures, pre-mixing alley, all of them increase in price over time, whereas 3D printed stuff will generally kind of flatline at one point. Because, well, it's 3D printed. If other people can do it, and that, then, you know, it doesn't hold its value and that as much in terms of it, you know, increasing in value, and that it'll generally just stay around the same point. And it can go down in value if more and more people are offering the same one. In terms of, like, you know, if one person, you know, sells a 3D printed Dalek, but then someone else then 10 other people start selling the same 3D printed Dalek, then obviously then they're going to have to compete with each other quite a bit more. So, yeah. I think I tried to explain that as much as I can, but yeah, there we go. But what I'm trying to say is basically official merchandise will generally, you know, increase in value and hold its value generally better over time, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that 3D printing stuff will go for cheap. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm just saying is that it's not going to go climbing. Mr. Valeska says, what do you think is the most underrated horror film? Underrated? I don't know if it's underrated as much as it is now, because it has gone up quite a bit, but I would say Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Because I think that's possibly my favourite. Yeah, that might be my favourite Halloween film, actually, out of all of them, actually. But yeah, in terms of any others. Don't know. But yeah, I do really like Halloween 4. I don't like Halloween 5 though. God, that is a bloody boring. I do like Halloween 6. I do like Halloween 6 actually, because at least it goes bloody insane. Particularly in the producer's cut, it goes completely just like, you know, if it's still entertaining, it's still entertaining. Even with an incest baby. Oh boy. That's going to be clipped. CyberFem wants a 3D printed Ian Levine figure. Yeah. I'm surprised Aldebar hasn't made a figure of himself that people can 3D print and make. Shimgon Bennett isn't alive anymore. His YouTube channel's still live. as far as I'm aware, the last time I checked. Although that was about a month ago. Going back, change. Guess we'll never know. Tom says, Six Sec has kidnapped them. Van. Six Sec has kidnapped Van? I think you mean them. No, I haven't kidnapped anyone. Okay, Cyber FM, you're kind of milking the Ian Levine jokes a bit. Oh my god, that's better than the real thing. Ian Levine is a genius. Who's Ian Levine? Is he a companion? Says Mr. Alaska. Not over the Colour Bank slide. You're just having a mental episode. I found a radio broadcast of you discussing your mental health. Oh yeah, but it was different then to how it is now. Yeah, I got 2 radio broadcasts actually talking about it. And the first one was a complete lie. Yeah, Heart Radio, the questions they were asking me were completely different. Yeah, for those who don't know, basically, I was interviewed for Heart Radio back in, what was it, 2018 or something like that. And basically, the topic they were talking about was completely different. Was a completely different mental health topic to what went on air. They actually decided to change topics, but they kept snippets of my interview and reworked them to completely out of context. So I was answering a question that they didn't actually ask, and the interview was half an hour long. And they used, what was it, 10-20 seconds of it, which was taken completely out of context. So, yeah. The second, though, interview I had, which was like 2 weeks later on another small, like, more independent radio station talking about mental health, that one was live, so obviously they couldn't edit it. Though, the problem with that one, that I had a different problem with, and that the presenter constantly kept interrupting me and wouldn't let us finish my sentences. Because my mum, who actually happened to listen to it live, said, "Oh, he kept cutting you off, didn't he?" I went, "Yeah." I was trying to explain stuff, and he just kept saying, "Oh, so does that mean this? Does that mean that?" And would literally keep cutting me off before I could finish my sentence, which was really exciting. And normally, I would try and cut him off back, but since it was live, I was trying to be civil. But yeah, those were the 2 times I've been on the radio. But yeah, that radio broadcast, I put it up myself because I asked. Hart would not give me the original interview. I asked them to give me my original interview after the fact. I said, "Would you be able to give us the full interview that you've recorded?" And they said, "Oh, yes." Then afterwards, after it went out, they wouldn't give us it. And I know why they wouldn't give us it, because what they interviewed me would not match with what they put out there. And I had to record that live on its one and only broadcast. So yeah, I just record that one live. The other one, the second one, obviously I couldn't record it live because I was physically there, but they actually did give me the full interview at proper quality when I asked for it. It took them ages to do it, but they did actually give us it. Whereas Heart Radio would not give me it. They would not give me that original interview, which is a shame, because it was actually quite, I did say quite a few touching things in that, and there particularly about some teachers, a couple of drama teachers who particularly helped me in that during those times. But yeah, now the world will never know. Colour balance doesn't exist. Hang on, what does that say? Mr. Valeska says, colour balance doesn't exist when it's black and white. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, except it's not. It's basically, that is tone more than anything else. It is tone, alright? So, for example, you can still have things that are incorrectly colour balanced on something that's black and white because it can be either too dark or too bright. It's more about contrast then, really, more than anything else. And luminance. But just because something's black and white, it still means you can have it incorrectly colour calibrated. Sec. How do you rate the clown's art? It, Krusty, Joker, and Bradley Walsh. I've never seen the clown's art. Right. So I've seen both versions. I've seen the Tim Curry version, and I've seen, obviously, I own both of the Bill Skarsgård films, with a prequel series coming, I think, this year. And I do like both for different reasons. I'd say I do prefer the Bill Skarsgård versions, though the Tim Curry versions are only entertaining, really, for me, when Tim Curry is on screen or when it's focusing on the kids as kids, and that, like the second half of that TV miniseries is a bit of a slog to get through, and yeah, I do prefer what they did with the giant spider in the Bill Skarsgård version, because him still being the clown there meant he was still able to, taunt and physically, was able to talk and physically, interact with them rather than just being a muted giant spider, which was defeated far too easily in the miniseries version. Have you seen Nathan Gavage Wong's replacement Tomb of the Cybermen? Have you heard of CEO figures? CEO needs fix that. Shake Tomb of the Cybermen help. Oh god. Okay, so the two. You know what? I'm not going to bother talking about the Tomb of the Cybermen helmet because I've talked about it's the bloody cows come home. Like, people saying it's terrible, it's the worst. Like, seriously, the Tomb Cybermen head sculpt, yeah, it's not 100% there, but it is far from one of the worst things out there. So yeah, personally, I don't have an actual problem with it, and that as it is, if it's improved, yes, but don't give Algernon ideas because he will fuck it up. If you're not happy with it now, you give him ideas, it'll be even worse next time. Mr. Galaxy says, the best part of Halloween 6 is Paul Rudd. He's definitely a highlight. He is definitely a highlight. And that of it. And obviously it's the last time we get Donald Pleasance, sadly. Best part, if Halloween 6 had a better ending, it would be a 10. Well, there's two endings to it. There's the producer's cut and the director's / theatrical cut. God, my itchy nose. That bloody dust has gone all over it. But yeah, both of which you can find on 4K Blu-ray from Scream Factory, but not here in the UK. You've got to import them, which is what I did. And they also include the Blu-rays as well. But yeah, that's what I did. And they look and sound absolutely amazing. Seriously, basically any Scream Factory release, or Shout Factory, for that matter, top tier releases from them in terms of like picture and audio, like absolutely fantastic. It's a shame they don't have a license outside the US and Canada for anything. Miska Valeska says he wants a Miska Valeska 3D printed figure. He's willing to pay £50 to whoever. I think you don't understand how expensive 3D printed things can get. Because £50, like, depending on the figure, that can just go for just the materials alone. But CyberFM says he'll make it, okay. I hope this is the last Ian Levine joke, CyberFM. I'm getting bored of it. Ian Levine is my lover, and I speak to him about as much as I want. He's my daddy. I look at him, big gumdrop. Okay. Shiny says, Sixek needs to kidnap Alderaan and interrogate him. Now, I would love to basically have an interview with Alderaan, have a discussion with him. I would love to have that, and I would be civil about it. But I wouldn't cut around the bush. I wouldn't, go ask, these questions that he can either skirt around the answer to, or basically just get, no. I'm going to ask him the questions, like, what happened, for example, with the Power Dalek and the Death Dalek MiG sections? Why did that happen? How did you let that happen? Why? Stuff like that. I'm not going to shout and yell at him over it and that, if I was to interview him in any shape or form and that, but I would, just ask him and that, and I won't do this whole thing, you don't have to ask anything that you won't want you, this is a safe space. No, just answer the question, because we'd like to know, and if you're not going to answer the question, then there's no point in you being here, type of thing. Because, if you don't have an answer, then if you're not going to answer questions, then... Because a lot of Alderaan's interviews, Jesus Christ, they feel like the people who he gets to interview him just feels like the bloody old circle jerking the whole time. Are you getting help with it? I'm not talking about mental health. We only joke with you. We actually like you. Who else would sit and listen to you ramble about figures? Kiss. Yep. I don't know. When I do reviews, actually, I do just record them off the cuff and that. But it doesn't mean I don't do any research on that. In fact, I do a lot of research on that, but since the figures are, shown off and announced and that long before they come out, it gives me a lot of time to do any research and that, have discussions and that with other people and that about them, and basically, essentially I've rehearsed it in my head a lot of times what I'm going to say in the reviews before I actually say them, but I don't go off a script, because for me, I feel I get the most honest review, and also, I get into the most personal stuff when I'm just doing it, my thoughts and that. It's just, I like it, what I call the red raw method, where it's just a camera pointing at the figure, showing that the figures, and just me completely unfiltered, saying exactly what I think about something. Like, I like it to be just completely unfiltered. That's it, that's what I want. Don't like that. That's how I like to do it. Not that I have anything against other people doing it the other ways and that far from it, but that's just the way I like to do it. And to be honest, not as many people like to do it my way and that anymore, what I call the Regmore method of just pointing a camera at the thing and just reviewing it there and then, in terms of like the bigger YouTubers I'm talking about. A lot of them like to do more scripted ones or try and edit it, make it more fancy and that, but me, I just like to, make sure I set it all up and that first, and that set the lighting and everything up, but, I like it just to be just completely just like, what's my head, just like completely unfiltered, just going straight out, and while thinking that at the time. And sometimes I think of stuff while I'm doing the review itself. Sometimes things do pop into my head when I'm actually recording the video itself. So yeah. Shiny says, wait, hold up. Who edited your review? If they're trying to twist your word... Review? No one edit... No. Are you I think you're talking about the interview... I think you're getting confused with the thing I was talking about earlier. In when I was on the radio, they edited and took bits out of context on my interview. That was nothing to do with me. I don't know who edited it. Someone at Heart Radio. Anyway, but in terms of my reviews, most of my bigger reviews, for the most part, are unedited. For the most part. And are completely unfiltered. And the only reason I say mostly is because sometimes there does have to be edits in there. Sometimes, but very rarely now. Very rarely. And the only reason it is for example, what was the time I needed to do an edit on something? Can't remember. Oh yeah, I think on a couple of examples I'd thought of something afterwards. After I'd recorded the review, so I recorded a bit afterwards, then edited that in and put that in there. Well, before it went up, that's happened on a couple of occasions. Though usually now it's just all in one go. Which also makes it easier and quicker to upload and that as well, because I can literally just upload the file and that straight from the camera, just on the SD card, just copy it across. Well, move it across, upload, boom, there you go. In 4K. So I said, I can't get rid of this bloody cough. I really can't. Anyway. Tom says, you touch all of us, Heart, in a special way. With this little passive-aggressive community you have built. Ah. Well, let's share something with the community. This is my old laptop, which I use exclusively for this. This is a program called Get_iPlayer. It is a program you can use to download from BBC iPlayer. Which there's a tutorial on how to do it and how to use it on YouTube from the people who made the actual software. The only problem I have with it, and which is why I've kept this, one of the reasons I'm glad I never sold this laptop, is for some reason it doesn't like Windows 11. Like, it just won't run properly on Windows 11. Some people it works perfectly fine on Windows 11. Other people's, like me, it just won't work. It'll just crash. But Windows 10, like this laptop is, works perfectly fine. There we go. We're downloading an episode of Am I High? Which is going away from iPlayer in 8 months' time. Someone says, you are like our God. If I am a god to you, then God, you need better standards. Shiny Wags. Sue, Heart Radio sounds like you're getting screwed over. Yeah, the person who's actually talking on the Heart Radio thing, the other person who's talking, yeah, that wasn't the person who spoke to me. And also, when I did go to Heart Radio, because the only time I'd ever listened to Heart Radio is when my dad put it on in the car, which nowadays is not very often, because one, someone connects their phone to the car and uses that. But now, whenever I'm in the car or go anywhere, I've got these headphones on, and that, so I can listen to my own music anywhere, anytime, and particularly when I go to Blackpool and that, I for example, I listen to the latest Ninth Doctor adventures, all three of them, when I was in Blackpool, as well as another couple of big finishers and that when I was walking about. So, yeah, these are some of the most useful things I have. And here's a tip as well. Buy good headphones. Buy decent headphones, and they will last. They will last, yeah. because good headphones stay good. They don't go bad. You know, they don't suddenly, you know, slow down because they've had a bloody software update or something. The only bad thing I'd say about these is, which will happen one day, is that since these are Bluetooth headphones, they obviously have a battery in them. Although them being headphones might be able to replace the battery in them, depending on how difficult they are to crack open and how much adhesive. Same goes for earphones as well. Those are the Sony XM3s, WHXM1013. And those are my earphones are the Sony WF-X1000 XM4s. Catchy name, Sony. Catchy name there. What was I going on about again? You should sue Gordon 6. Okay. Mr. Melissa says, did you hear about Willy Wonka's experience? Yes. I know all about the Willy Wonka bloody SAG factory where the Simpsons predicted the future. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I have seen the meme fucking everywhere. And even before the meme came out, I saw it. Speaking of Willy Wonka, I should be today, my Wonka steelbook got dispatched today, so that should arrive on either Saturday or Monday at the latest, which I will do an unboxing of on my other channel. So yeah, go to my other channel where Mr. Tickle will tickle you in that special place, or not. How long have we been going? About 2 hours, bloody hell. I don't think I'll go for too much longer. One, because I'm wearing my voice out, and two, I would like to have my tea. Pardon me. Excuse me. That must have been the fish and chips I had for my lunch. It was quite nice, actually. Crow's Nest at Newcastle. Go there, they do a really nice fish and chips. It is a little bit more expensive, it's £12.50. Actually, no, it's £12.45, but, oh, so much better than that shit at, God, I had one of the worst fish and chips at a Weatherspoons at Sunderland a few weeks back. Basically, it was microwaved. And I know for a fact it was microwaved because it came out and it was, I think I told this story last time, but it came out, the chips were stone cold, so I sent it back, and literally less than 2 minutes later they brought it back, and it was the same plate with the same chips, because I know I'd counted them, and I'd seen how it was all positioned. Yeah, I'm obsessive like that, it's weird, I know, but still. Anyway, it was then hot, but God, the fish had no taste whatsoever. It was like one of those, it was just a fish that had zero taste, zero flavour. Now, no matter how much lemon juice or tartar sauce I put on that, yeah, it was not very nice. Though, it was still better than my mum's curry that she had. That was literally still frozen in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, don't go to that. Not all Weatherspoons use a microwave. I will say, not all of them. I know the one in Biker doesn't, because that one you can actually see into the kitchen. That one is a good one. Yeah, yeah. I know about different Weatherspoons, as well as B&M's. I've been to many of them. And Yates's. The one at Sunderland is no longer there, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because the toilets in that one, I recorded a couple of quick YouTube shorts, including the one about the resurrection sex where Alduar initially said he wasn't going to do, and that was recorded in the toilets in Yates at Sunderland. Yeah, mainly because it was quiet in there because they were playing music or something, or football or something upstairs. So I went down to the toilets to record that. Yeah. And there's another one actually when this sex when the pictures of this set got revealed, when I did a YouTube short on that, you might be able to hear a hang dryer going off in the background. That's because that video was recorded in the toilets at the range at Gateshead. Yeah. Just so you know, sometimes if I just need a quiet area to go in, I'll record it there. For example, that was also the same day those leaked pictures of that Mavellan figure came out. And I actually just walked outside of the Wetherspoons to record and do that video. One is because I couldn't get a signal inside. And two, because it was a bit noisy in there. It was also a bit noisy outside. Speaking of which, that could be part of the Friends and Foes set. Actually, it could be a Mavellan and something else. Maybe. Who knows? Or maybe that was just one from another time. Who knows? I'm talking quite quickly, aren't I? Trying to get this through. Okay, kind. Where we are. Where? 6X. Oh, I just read that one. Cyber FM says, I like your style of videos and reviews. It's very authentic. Yeah, that's basically I'm just giving my opinions on something. That's it. That's what my reviews are, is basically just giving my opinion on whatever it is. And that's essentially it. So anyway, says, the funny thing about your reviews and the reason that they're some of the best that I've done is really... I'll read that again. I'm trying to read it. I'm not very good at reading. I'm dyslexic, which, yeah, makes it very difficult. I recently, the other night, finished a visual novel, actually, and it was one of those ones where it has multiple endings. It has 8. And I got the bad ending initially. One of the bad endings. 4 bad ones, 4 good ones, I believe. I then went back, got the best ending. And then I went back to deliberately get the worst ending. Luckily, there's a guide. There was a guide, actually, on the official thing, anyway. Okay, I was doing that again. The funny thing about your reviews, and the reason that they're some of the best, is that they're done in a really professional way. No, they're not. My videos are not professional at all. Shame the Wipes backdrop reviews don't also use your review style. Yeah, now, ideally I would have a backdrop if I could. In fact, at some point in the past I did, when I had more space. Problem is, I don't have very much space, so, yeah. On a couple of occasions, I actually used an IKEA box from IKEA, an IKEA, felt type box. A black IKEA felt type box as a background. But, yeah, that's mainly to, one, keep the white balance, but also to help the camera focus a bit. It helps the camera focus if it's got a definitive, backdrop. It does help the camera focus a bit more. I mean, this one, as you can see there, if I put my finger there, it's very good at focusing on things very quickly. Put my hand there, put my hand there. See, it focuses pretty well. Though unfortunately, any camera's autofocus is trained on the human face. It's very good at faces. Very good at tracking humans and everything like that. When it comes to figures, not as much. Now, it is made slightly better in what is called product showcase mode, which is this, which is still pretty good at focusing on that. Not quite as quick as its human tracking mode, where it's even quicker at focusing and good at keeping the focus, but it's not as good as focusing on products, and plus it crops into the image a bit. But yeah, even using your phone though, still really good. Yeah, I know it's got that microphone really needs a clean out of it actually. Yeah, I might. Let's see. No, that's not thin enough. I need to find a needle or something like that to clean out this. It's always the top microphone hole on my phone that always gets pocket lint and other stuff in that in it. The bottom one never does. But which is why unfortunately, if you watched my episode 1 of the Search for Got 2 memorabilia number 7, which came out last week, that one, you hear the audio was more skewed to the right hand side than the left hand side, and that is because the smartphone, yeah, it's just impossible to keep it bloody cleaned out, and you don't want to poke something in there too far because otherwise you break the microphone. But yeah, that thing could do with a clean out. But I use my phone for that because it's easy to carry around, but also it's not a big massive camera or anything like that. It's like, basically, you know, people generally become a bit, either act weird or become either act a bit weird in front of a camera or become, you know, a bit nervous and that if you've got a camera around. And that, but if you've just got your phone, carrying your phone around and that, which I do, basically I just carry it around and that with us, and that, like this in my hand. Then basically you get some better shots than that because, like, you know, people aren't doing the thing of, oh, should I avoid the camera shot? Should I not the camera just like while they're doing type thing? It's just basically more natural and it draws less attention to yourself. Basically. Bloody hell, I've drunk quite a bit of this during the live stream, haven't I? I'm going to be pissing for ages. Anyway, it says, only other Got 2 figures like you was the Mono Supreme. I think you mean Got 2 reviewers, okay. Other Got 2 was Mono Supreme. Yeah, I used to speak to him. I haven't spoken to him in God knows how long. Yeah, because the last couple of times I tried talking to him, he never responded, and haven't really had a reason to speak to him since, actually. Yeah, because he asked me to get he asked for some footage for the 3 3/4 inch prototype figures, which I got. But yeah, but the thing is, though, and I'm not going to say too much, but I do know he now has contact with Aldoar, and so yeah, we'll see what happens in that with that. But apparently he does. I don't know. I haven't had any first-hand experience, but apparently he does. So yeah. I also noticed Aldoar is shortening. Like, the amount of people he sends the stuff to is slowly shrinking. Whether that's a budgetary thing, or whether he's just fallen out with people and decided, nah, I'm not sending it to you. We all know he will never send it to me. I remember my mum just said, oh, why don't you just pretend to like the stuff and then you'll get sent it for free? And I said, well, no, that would never happen, because one, the only reason my channel grew in the first place is because, you know, I was the controversial one. I pointed out things and that like that. But also the fact is, I would not do that on principle. Basically, I will always give my honest opinion about something. I will never lie. Which, believe me, it's not always the best. But there you go. But yeah, he doesn't review figures anymore. Oh god, I'm getting tired now. CyberFM says, over a year back when I began the Ultimate Doctor Who Marathon, I watched the, spelt with a G, the Loose Cannon Recons. Okay. Shiny says, oh, by the way, nice PS3 video. I got Hen running on my Super Slim, but it's so fucking glitchy. I found Hen was working fine on mine. The only problem is getting a PS2 game to run on a PS3 Hen system. A one like the Super Slim it's possible. It's possible, but it's a fucking nightmare to do. It's an absolute pain in the fucking arse to do. That's why I've got a backwards compatible one. But, nothing's going to fall down the journey. But anyway, that's a talk for that other channel that I do. Tom says, I'm interested. What does a day in the life of Six Sec look like? I don't do the same thing every day. Today I'm at my granddad and that for lunch, which I do once a week, every week. And that, not very much a day. Yesterday I was in hospital. And that, and stuff. Yeah. What are you having for tea? I have got a vegetable pasta bake from Marxie's, which is quite nice. It's Mediterranean vegetables in a pasta bake. It's quite nice, actually. So anyways, you're gonna need a pry tool to open those headphones. I do have pry tools. They have tongues of clips in them. Yes, the clips are not the things that worry me. It's the adhesive. So anyways, actually telling you got a good point. Do more vlogs if you can. They're fun to watch. Well, we'll see. The search for Got 2 memorabilia have gotten longer. Like, I was only at Blackpool for 2 days, and I recorded nearly 2 hours worth, which was a surprise to me. I thought I'd maybe get an hour at most, but I got nearly double that. I hope the foe in the Friends and Foe sets isn't Ice Warrior, Zygon, or Invasion of Time Sontaran Trooper. Yeah, I'd be happy when I hear them. And on that note, it's 6:30 now, so I think I will wrap things up there. Unless there's anything weird or outrageous, and it can be anything that anyone wants to ask me. Like, what was that visual novel you read last night, Six Sec? What was that? While yous are doing that, having a think about, I'm going to download another episode of MI High. Yeah. The only thing about this downloader is that it does involve quite a bit of typing. It's not just clicky button. But it does work and it is reliable. Yeah. And also Gillian Bleach is in that. Mm-hmm. So if you ever wondered what the Grand Marshal looks like, well, Gillian Bleach is your answer. Yeah, I think that's it. Is this... Did I remember to press record? Yes, I did. Good. Because I remember the last time I did a stream, I forgot to record it at the same time. So unfortunately, only the streamed version is the only version available. So I had to download that. Normally, what I try to do is on OBS is record it and obviously stream at the same time, because then I've got, you know, the better copy, and that's if anything ever went wrong. Because yeah, unfortunately, what you're getting as a stream version is nowhere near the same quality I would be getting on my end. Same with the videos on that as well. Same with them. But yeah, I don't know. I got 2 packs of these on Sunday. There you go. There's a night. I'll be doing several unboxings on my other channel tomorrow. Because well, as long as they hopefully if they come in the post, and that because tomorrow Liam Gallagher and Kaiser Chief's new albums are both coming out, and I'm getting 2 versions of those of each one. And also now that's what I call music collections, also getting a vinyl release. And that'll hopefully be coming. Hopefully. Although it says on the tracking Saturday, though, might come tomorrow. It's meant to come tomorrow, but yeah. Regardless, but yeah, I think that is it. So, yeah, thank you everyone for watching this live stream. And that, I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know when the next one will be. Maybe when we get some more news on the sets and that come out. I don't know how inclined I'm able to believe that person who... Because the thing is, I've heard a lot of people who say, oh yes, I work at B&M and this is what it says on my system. And a lot of it turns out to be complete bollocks. And I asked him for the product codes, which he said he had, and yeah, he didn't put the product codes in there. So I don't know how inclined... If he put the product codes in there, I'd be much more inclined to believe him. But the fact that he didn't do that, that guy earlier who said he worked at B&M, and so yeah, don't know how much I believe that. So, but regardless of anything else, so yeah, I think that'll come to an end of this live stream, and I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Tatty bye.